What's up, guys? It's Coded right here, and we'll go to episode 21 of the How to Code a Spigot plugin for 1.15 series. Today's episode, it will be the last episode in the kind of continuing NPC videos that I've been having going, and this one's going to go over saving the NPCs to a file, and that's because when we have earlier, we created an NPC, we have it so when you click on the NPC, it sends a message or does a GUI or something, but we don't have it to where when you reload the server or stop the server, they save there. So what the plugin does today, of course, when I reload the server, they will disappear, and then when the server comes back on, they will enable again. And when I was coding this earlier, I kind of saw our flaws in how we designed our classes from the past video. So there is much better ways that we could have actually coded this plugin, but I try to code it to where anyone of any experience with Java will understand. So that's why I start to use static a lot, because static is something we can access between classes, and people that don't know much about Java can understand it more. But we should have not made these static and actually made this a normal class. But since we have the static going on this class, we will have to keep a static kind of flow. The first thing I want to do is hop into your class, and we're going to create a new class, but this class will be your config class. If you don't know how to make a custom config, I should have a little thing you click right above that'll show you how to make a custom config. I'm not going to type all that stuff in. I'm actually just going to go ahead and copy and paste it in there. So I'm pretty sure our custom config was on this plugin. Here it is. If you don't want to use a custom config, you can use a normal config file, and I'll show you how to do that. But I will be using my custom config code that you could find in that video up above. So I'm going to paste that code into here real quick. Alright, so my config file creates a data.yml. As you can see right here, it creates data.yml. So whenever you create a custom config, the first thing you want to do is go into your SRC, right click on it, go to new file, and we're going to create that data.yml. We're not going to put anything in here because it's all going to be automatic. And actually, I can show you real quick what our data.yml will look like. And this is what it will look like right here. So it will save the NPCs by number. And that's because we didn't code away. Like, we should have done it like, if you know a hologram command, plugins, they have like hologram, create the name of the hologram, and then like what you want the hologram to say. We should have done something like that, but instead I just have it automatic to where it saves by number. So this is our first NPC, and it saves it with the texture and the signature. It will save the X, Y, Z, the pitch, the yaw, and the world, as well as the name of the skin. And I'm saving the skin data here so we don't have to go and create the skin data. So it just saves the skin data. And as you can see, it goes on and on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll go 6 if we make a new one. But that's what our data.yml will look like. And then once you create the data.yml in the SRC, head over to the main class, and we will create a public data manager. I'm just calling that data class, and I'm calling it data. Now, typically, I would just make it a non-static, but because we have this whole static kind of thing going in our plugin already, I'm going to have to make it static. I recommend going back and changing all the statics to non-statics and actually working the right way of coding, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep it static. And then once I have that, I will at the top go do this, not this, say data equals a new data manager, and we're going to pass in this. And all the code right here that I'm doing is for my custom class. And now once that custom class is set up, now this code that I'm about to write is all for the actual saving of the NPC. The first thing I want to do is come down here in our main class and create two methods. And one's called a public static file configuration, and one's called get data. And it's going to return the data file get config. It's going to return this config here. I'm going to import file configuration, and I'm going to create another method, and it's going to be called public static void save data, and you can guess it, it's going to do data.saveconfig. If you don't want to use a custom file, you can go ahead and create these methods here, and instead of saying data.getConfig, you just say getConfig and stuff like that. This .getConfig, whatever. I do recommend making a custom file so you can have a custom data.yml. So once these methods are in here, we can actually go ahead into the major of the coding. So we're going to go into our NPC class. This is our NPC class right here. And what we want to do is, so whenever someone creates this NPC, when they type in create NPC, whatever, we want to save all that information. We want to save the X, the Y, the Z, the pitch, the yaw, the world. We want to save all of that right when they create it. So at the end of when they create it, let's space down a little bit, and let's first say int var equals 1. And I'll explain this in a second. So we want to say if main dot get data dot contains data, and then I'm going to say var equals main dot get data dot get configuration section data dot get keys. I'm going to say false for this, and then I'm going to say dot size plus 1. All right. So why am I doing that right there? The first thing we did, we created a new integer, and we called it var, and we set it equal to 1. Now we're saying if the data file, if the data.yml contains data. So if I go into it real quick and show you guys, so if it says data here, then we know there's some sort of data in our YML. Fix that a little bit. Then we know there's some sort of data in our data.yml. So if there is data in our YML, let's go ahead and get that var, which is the size of it. And what I mean by this is it's the size of this. So it's getting one, it's getting all these, it's getting all the sections under, oh God, my bad. It's getting all the sections under data. It's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's getting the size of it, and it's adding 1. So that means if we already have 5 NPCs, we'll go ahead and add 1, and we'll make sure that we put the 6th one in there. Now, what if there's no information in this YML? It would be, oh, nothing in here. Let's go ahead and just set var to 1, and let's move on. And what we're going to do is say main.getData.set, and what we're setting here is data dot plus var plus dot x, and the x variable will be player dot get location dot get x. And I can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm setting this file, I'm setting data to the variable, and this is what NPC it is. If it's the first NPC, the second NPC that we create, if it's the 30th NPC we create, we're setting it to the 30th NPC, and we're setting its X to player like an exclamation. And this is the location up here that we set the NPC at. And then after we're done with that, just go ahead and copy this line. Copy the line, paste it like 10 times. Paste it a bunch, and then we're going to change this to get X, we're changing that to get Y, we're changing this to get Z, we're changing this to get pitch, and we're changing this to get yaw, and we're changing this to get world dot get name. And then since we changed this, the Y, X, pitch, whatever, we need to change our location in the data file. So Y, Z, P for pitch, W for yaw, and W will do world for the world. And why are we doing this? We want to save, we can't just save the NPC. We need to save its location, its name, its game profile, so that we're able to recreate it. That's the whole point of this. We save all this information in the file, and then when the server starts back up, we recreate it with that information. Now, I do recommend to get a little less data in that file, go ahead and cast ints to the X, Y, and Z. Keep the pitch and yawn as normal. This will make it so instead of having instead of having x.55098 blah 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 blah, we're just gonna have 5.72. Now for pitch and yaw, you should probably keep it in there because this is like, it makes it a little more accurate. So keep that in there for pitch and yaw. But for X, Y, and Z, it doesn't really matter. Go ahead and just make it normal. Or you could, if you wanted to, just make it a less integer. Just make it up to 2, whatever. Whatever you like. I usually just do ints for those. And then once we have these set, like I said, we will need 3 more things, and that is the game profile information. The game profile information, of course, is you paste another line in there. Let's paste 3 more lines. And actually, go ahead and paste 1, sorry. Paste 1, and then go ahead and say, instead of X, this will be the name. And the name, of course, is skin. And that's kind of weird that we named it that, but it's the skin name, whatever the skin is called. So if I create an NPC / NPC create, whatever it is, NPC create MD5, the skin string is MD5, so we want to save it as MD5. And this is for the name later on. Next, we want to create another one, and this one's going to say text for texture. And I'm putting name 0 in there. And then the last one will say, you can signature for the signature. And now name 0, name 1 is our signature values that we have up here, where we actually set it. Name 0, name 1 is the texture, and this is the signature. Once we have it all set, we can actually finally do save. That's the most important thing when setting stuff to a file. Make sure you save it. I always mess up from that for some reason. I get a lot of people on Discord getting that error. You have to make sure you save it. And once it's saved, it's done. And that's all we have to do to this method. That's it. Next, we will need to create another method. And this is going to be the load NPC method. So this would be public static void load NPC. And this is going to take in a location and a game profile. And we'll call it profile. Now, why are we passing in a location and a game profile? And that's because that's all we saved. All we saved was a location and a profile. And that's all we need to recreate an NPC. And this code right here is super easy. All we have to do is copy this code and then edit around a little bit. So go ahead and copy your create NPC code, put it into the load NPC code, and we will need to change a few things in here. Everything that has a player needs to be changed with a location. So this whole code right here, this bucket.getWorld player, whatever, when we get the world of the player, all we have to do in here is get rid of that and type in location.getWorld. Similarly, the skin will be, we don't have to worry about this outline actually at all. So profile, game profile, we're passing in a game profile. We don't need it. So get rid of the game profile. Actually, instead of that, let's go ahead and do this. Let's say game profile equals profile. All right. So the game profile equals the profile that we're passing in. And then for the NPC location, all we have to do is replace player.getLocation with location. And to make this a little faster, I'm going to copy this, press Control F, and you can get this little replace thing. You go down this arrow, and we can type in location. And now don't press the star, just press it by pressing enter. So enter, 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 enter. And we want to exit out because we don't want to change any other ones. We only want to change this location. So we're changing location to location.x, location.y, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, we don't need the skin profile or the game profile. We don't need any of this, and that's because we already passed it in. And just like that, we are done with the NPC code. That's all you need to put in there. Whatever we put in here, put in here. So what we did so far was when we create the NPC, when the player runs this command, it's going to set all this information in the file. Then, when the server's shutting down, we're going to go into our on enable over here. And instead of just putting the on enable, let's go ahead and make another method. And we'll make this method public void load NPC. So whenever in the onEnable, we can go ahead and at the top of the onEnable, actually right before this, let's go ahead and type in load NPC. So when the server's shutting down, when we press and reload, in the onEnable, it's going to run this method, load NPC. And what this method is going to contain is it's going to grab everything from that data file, put it into a location, put it into a game profile, and then send all that location and profile to the other method we created in our NPC. So it's really easy. And to make it even more lazy for myself, I'm going to type in file configuration file equals data .get config, and now I'm typing this line in, like I said, because I'm lazy, because I like typing 4 letters instead of that many letters. So file configuration file, and next we're going to do the get configuration section. Now a lot of people get confused about this whole thing, and it's really confusing when you start out. But after you do it like a million times, it's super easy and super useful. So I'll explain what I'm doing here. I'm going to get the data file, which I dumbly put that, I put file. So I'm getting this file, I'm getting the configuration section. I'm getting the section in the config that says data. Now this is whatever the hell you want to name it. If instead of you name it data, you want to put NPC, put NPC, if it makes more sense to you. I like to name stuff data in my file. So we're getting the section that's called data in our YML. We're getting the keys. And what does that mean? That means we're getting whatever is under data. We're getting all these values, all the child values that's under data. And I put false here. What the false means is I only want to get the first key. So I want to get 1, I want to get 2, and I want to get 3. I don't want to get the child. I don't want to get all these keys. I only want to get data and the 1, 2, 3. I want to get the ones under. If these were named NPC1, blah, blah, blah. If they were named that, it would go data, get this one, get this one, get this one, whatever's right under data, not the child of those. So I'm putting false. And I'm saying for each. This is a for each loop, just like a for loop. We're saying for each, and then NPC dash greater than open curly brace, enter. And then just like that, we have a for each loop. For each loop creates this NPC as a variable. It will create a variable of whatever in the file it is. So if I say data.npc, it will go through data.this one, data.this one, data.the next one. It'll go through all the keys. And false, because we're only going to have the first keys. This, like I said, is just a variable. If you wanted, usually people call it key. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I'm going to call it NPC, just make it a little more easier. And what we're going to put in here is just our getting stuff. And you can do this in multiple ways. I'm just going to put it all into one thing. Location equals a new location. For when you're creating a new location, we'll need to import that. When we create a new location, you need to pass in 4 things: the world, the X, the Y, and the Z. So the first thing we need to do is do bucket.getWorld. And what are we getting? We're getting file.getString data dot plus the NPC plus dot world. So make sure you see what I'm doing there. I'm going into the section data. I'm dotting with the NPC, which is our key, and then I'm dotting with world. And this is just all the value that we set in our NPC here, the data. Data.npc.world. I'm just getting that value. And once we get the world, like I said, we will need to get multiple other things like file.getInt of data dot plus NPC plus dot X. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this line right here, do a comma, paste it, comma, paste it, semicolon, and then change these from X's to Z, and then this middle X to Y. And then, let's see, import this. and then we created our location. At least we created most of our location. It's not quite finished yet. We need to do location dot set pitch, and we're setting the pitch to a float. It's pretty important. Float, and we're saying f dot get file dot get double, and we're getting the double of data dot plus npc plus dot pitch, or what was it, p, whatever we named it in there. And then I'm going to copy this line again, paste it one more time, and do dot y. And instead of pitch, this will be the yaw. And just to make sure, when we go into our file quick, dot p dot y. Cool. Cool. All right, so that's it for location. So we got one part done of what we need to send in. We got the location done. And now we need to get the game profile done. So I'm going to say string name equals file dot get string data dot plus npc plus dot name. Nope. And then we'll create that game profile. And that game profile is, I'm just going to copy it from the NPC class. Definitely when creating code like this, data code and stuff, it's a lot of copying and pasting, which is not fun at all. I despise making this code, but it's okay. So I'm creating this game profile, and all this code right here is from our NPC class, and that's because we're just creating the same shit. So we're saying instead of skin, we're going to say name. Instead of name O, we're going to say the actual value of it, and that is file.getString data dot plus npc plus dot text, and that was our texture code. Let's tab this down a little bit. Instead of name 1, we are going to say the same thing, file dot get string data dot plus npc plus dot signature. Then last but not least, we do npc.load npc, pass in that location, pass in the game profile, and we are done. There we go. 22 minutes, and we saved every single NPC we can now create from now on. That's all you need to do. Of course, let's go ahead and test this code out. And before I do that, let me just say, for each loop, it means we'll go for every single key under data. If it's false, it means only the first keys. So we'll go through the first NPC, go create it. We'll go for the second NPC, load it. Third NPC, load it. Fourth NPC, and load it. And we'll keep going on and on. And without further ado, let's go ahead and export to my server and test it out. The name of this is custom NPC. Let me reload my server. Okay, one thing we should say too, we say up here, we should say data dot get config dot contains. I'm sorry, brain fart. So we'll say right before we load it, we'll say if data contains. So if it contains data, and then we load it, just like when we getting stuff. So if it contains data, then load it. And let me reload my server again and see if that will fix it. All right, so before we can actually run this code on our server, my bad, I messed up a little bit. We need to put some little more things in here, and we need to put this for loop in here. So whenever the server is shutting down, we need to go ahead and remove all the packets from the NPCs, from all the players. So if the player is still on the server when the server is shutting down or reloading, let's go ahead and delete all those packets. To delete those packets, go ahead inside this for loop that we already have created. Let's go through every single NPC we create and type in this remove NPC. And you're going to get an error here because this is a custom method that I will show you right now. So as well as we need to go into our remove NPC, and we need to get the connection and then send the packet of player playout entity destroy. So we're going to destroy that NPC, whatever NPC gets sent. And this is also a really good method too if you want to go ahead and create like an easy way to get rid of NPCs. So if you click on NPC when you're holding an axe or something like that, it deletes the NPC. You can go ahead and do something like that. Really simple. In the last video, I showed you guys how to do those click NPC events, and really easy. Go ahead and just create that. But once we have this remove NPC and the other for loop in our on enable, we will need, on disable, we will need to fix one more thing, and that is this yaw. Earlier, I had it typed as Y, and we can't do that. It has to be yaw because we already have a Y. So once you fix the yaw in both the NPC and the main class, this code will run perfectly fine, and we can export it out. And I'll load up my server right now to test it for you guys. So here my server. Let's go to this little ship over here, and let's go above it. Let's type in our command create NPC. The NPC I want to create is MD_5. As you see, it creates this NPC, and it'll work just like our normal NPCs. When we click on it, it does whatever you have it set to. And then whenever you reload the server, the NPC will get deleted, and then it will come back. And it should work the same. Yep, works the same. And yeah, just like that. That's how you guys save NPCs to a file and load them back. If you guys liked the video, please like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next. This is probably the last episode about NPCs for a little bit, and that's because I want to get into more things like particles, and we're going to be talking about particles in the next video Friday. So next coming up is particles, as well as people keep asking about like a worn GUI or like a banned GUI. I'll probably go over that too. Why not throw that in there? But yep, the next big thing is particles. We'll learn everything about it. So if you did like the video, go ahead and press that like button. I'll see you guys in the next episode.